As a child, I was drawing and painting everywhere. I started with paper, then at the end of primary school, I discovered this box of oil paints, so I started with this technique. I found the light of this color very interesting, and the smell of the solvents. So I was really in a phase of discovery of new materials that were at home. So one day I used the bell springs, I painted them. So my father started to buy wooden panels, and I was also melting styrofoam with the hot metals, and I was using fabric to paint. So I was really in a discovery phase, and I would say that at this stage painting was like a sort of expressive, natural flow without any rules and directions. It was just a need of expression and discovery. Everything inspired me. I was, for example, at a certain moment trying to, keep my creativity out of the house. So I started to cooperate with other artists, entering exhibitions. And if you see my first exhibitions, Silences, Feeling Without Word and Color as a Word, you can see that I was inspired by emotions. So at that time, I felt the need to give coherence to my production, and I started to have some thematic developments. I did exhibitions in Italy, but then in 2002 I moved to Belgium, and the first exhibition was Flight. And for that exhibition you can see that the colors changed. They became more subtle, and I realized the first installation with some mocha that I had at my place, and installations became very frequent in my exhibitions. And in Belgium I started to go to the academy. I did academy for 6 years. Then I specialized for 2 years in art therapy, and I opened a space to collaborate with galleries and museums. So all of this, of course, had an impact on my first style, because I became more conceptual, a little bit less emotional, and many exhibitions were really on thematic, so like listen to music, speed, and some others. I was born in Vicenza in Italy, so the first inspiration was my natural landscapes. The city is beautiful, there are a lot of buildings from Palladio, and so we were going to exhibitions also in Venice. Palazzo Grassi was wonderful, but we were going also to Verona, Padua, Milan, and so I would say that the first inspirations was the Italian Renaissance painters, because we were going to exhibition in the north, but we were also going to the south during summer. So I was inspired also by the painters like Guccione, Guttuso, with these Mediterranean colors that were very important for my inspiration. But I was inspired also by everything that we were doing. We were going to cinema, we were going to theater, we were going to the Carnival of Venice, that is a family tradition. So all of this inspired me. Then at a certain moment I started to go outside Europe, in Italy. So I went to Colombia, to Thailand, and all of this was part of my inspiration and creativity. sometimes you need to really have a very good timing, but I would say that also my personal life is an inspiration. For example, when I was pregnant, I was so excited, but this phase where I was giving birth, and as a creative person, this was a really creative moment. And so I produced a lot of paintings for the embryo exhibition on embryo life and biology that was exposed in the World Bank with 2 installations. In terms of projects that I want to develop for the future, I would say that in these recent times I did some exhibitions focused on cinema and the visual world, because cinema is part of my professional life. So for me, the association between cinema and painting is quite natural. And maybe, yeah, for the future, I would like to develop this search in the visual worlds, and I would find a gallery that is interested in developing this project, not necessarily in Brussels or in Belgium, even outside Europe. Critics said that sometimes my work is too diversified, but some others focus the attention on the use of colors, and some others advise me to explore more on the ability of composition. One of them really suggested me to go back to collage. That was my first activity as a child, so I decided to do it in a different way. So not paper on paper, but I decided to use piece of canvas on canvas. So the idea was to silent colors in this period, that it was very silent, and to really exploit the possibilities of the natural colors of canvases on canvases. So it was also a tribute to Fontana and his cuts. So I also cut the canvas with birds and so on. And the idea was really to give a tribute to canvases. It depends on the phase, but a part of my production tries to make some irony on the artistic world, because I guess sometimes the artwork takes itself too seriously. So, for example, in the case of vernissage or reproduction, there's a part of my activity that tries to take a distance, because it's a way to, to make some fun and some jokes on the fields. I think the first would be multiplicity, because if I go back and I see what I did, I think I realize more or less 30, 40 drawings, 262 and more paintings, and 1/3 has been delivered to people, so I hope it's inspiring them. Then there are installations, but of course it's not a question of quantity, it's a question of quality, in the sense that I always try to discover and to be different. And the second would be I think the empathy, because I always try to be in connection with people and to navigate in the human feelings. And the third one would be innovation, because, as I said, I always try to renovate, to discover, and it is not always easy, because sometimes there are walls, frustration, difficulties, But I always try to consider a difficulty as a sort of step, for a new creative process. And if I can make a wish, I use the music box. And so I express my wishes, hoping they will be realized. Because, we need something in our life to survive. And I think we need magic. And for me, art is my magic.